Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Can-Am SimSport. This is not the... Oh, hang on. That's the wrong screen. I gotta pull the right one up here. Hang tight. Hang tight. Preview projection. There we go. Now we're cooking with kerosene. This is Can-Am SimSports. They're calling it CASSCAR. It's essentially their version of NASCAR. This is a very interesting championship. I'm going to do the best I can to follow along with the rule set. The rules are not necessarily complicated. I've been super duper busy and haven't had a chance to do my due diligence on research. So I'm going to kind of wing it as well as I can. I know there's going to be a stage break. There will be a stage break tonight. Tonight we are at the NASCAR Road Course in Daytona. It is a night race. It should be very interesting with stock cars. There are no headlights, obviously. So stage 1 runs from lap 1 through 20. Pits close on lap 20, and the stage caution will come out on lap 21. Pits will open at the end of lap 22. This is subject to change in their voice call. I am not a part of the voice call, so I'm going to kind of do my best. Hopefully things run as well as they're supposed to. But lap 22, pits will open, and we will receive the green flag on lap 23, and the stage will run from lap 23 to lap 40, and that'll be the end of the race. So, should be an exciting race. Points will be scored to individual drivers based on stage and overall win, as well as a team championship. They did have some rules regarding who could be teamed with who and who couldn't be teamed with who. So, there are teams. I've got a spotter guide. I don't have everybody on the spotter guide. So I'm going to do my best to follow the series, but I think we're waiting on some folks to get in here and get rolling. But I'm excited to do this commentary. I do think we're missing a couple drivers tonight that we were expecting for. Some folks couldn't make it. There is no team livery, no custom liveries tonight. I think everybody's trying to make sure they get into an unclaimed livery. But I think I've got liveries for 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I've got 20 liveries that are claimed, which should be a lot of folks, but obviously some of those people can't make it tonight. But excited. Thank you for Christopher telling me the mic is messed up on stream. One moment. I know the solution. Also, I will do a better job paying attention to chat. Is that any better, Christopher? Perfect. Yeah, I'm streaming audio from 2 PCs, so sometimes it gets a little out of whack. I'm not sure what this lighting bug is, but I do not like it. So this is going to be a very interesting championship, folks. A couple of things to note about these stock USA Gen 3s. They do not have pit speed limiters. It is all in the driver's right foot. So must proceed cautiously as we follow Nikita out of pit lane. These cars sound absolutely badass. For anybody interested or concerned or hoping, I'm going to go ahead, get ahead of the curve now. There will be no ovals on this series. This is the Roadmaster series, compilation of North America's finest road circuits. So don't get your hopes up. So we follow Nikita on his outlap. Nikita put on a stellar show during the DTM Championship 6-round series. This is an 8-round series, full 8-round series here in the Stock USA Gen 3 and Automobilista 2. Out on the NASCAR 1. I just love this sound, man. Very similar to the IMSA Sports Car Road Course. The only difference being, if you're looking at the track map over here, this little chicane on the exit of NASCAR 3, the bus stop as he just went through, perfectly in line with the IMSA Sports Car circuit. And we're going to put the pressure on Nikita here in just a moment as he's rounding NASCAR 4 and diving into the chicane. Very challenging, but they do this to slow the cars down, and we are going to ride on board with Nikita for a track tour, crossing the line on the front stretch down into turn 1. Very aggressive braking point, very tough zone, especially with these cars and all the weight transfer. Through turn 2, the S's here. Hard right-hander. This is what we call the International Horseshoe. Nice and slow and smooth on the exit, firing it down through, lovingly called the dog leg. We also like to call it the kink. So the track kinks a little bit there to the left. And then he's on to another hard right-hander into the West Horseshoe. Keeping it nice and tidy here. Shooting down into turn 6 here. Very, very aggressive braking zone and kind of an unintuitive line here, traditionally speaking. And out onto NASCAR 2, also turn 7 here on Daytona Road Course. Everybody's familiar with an oval racetrack. That was turn 8 that we just went through. And down the backstretch, hard on the brakes into the Le Mans chicane. Lovingly titled the bus stop. That's turn 9 and turn 10 as we go through turn 10 here. Back out onto the backstretch for turn 11, which is NASCAR 3, and turn 12, which is NASCAR 4. Just before we get to the front stretch, there's a NASCAR chicane right here. Nikita chewing up some curbs, firing it down the front stretch. And he will be the first driver to post a timed lap with a 150.12. Nice and clean for Nikita. Definitely a driver to be watching tonight as he goes wide into turn 1. Manages to keep the car off the wall. We'll jump back to Soupy here. Oh, I apologize. Soupy got dethroned. We'll watch Joe Dirt as he goes through the bus stop in our warm-up session. 10-minute warm-up, 5-minute qualifying. A couple local yellows. Nice and tidy through the final chicane. And Joe Dirt will cross the line with a 52.018. Nikita with the fastest lap by a wide margin. Maximo ARG, another fellow we've seen hitting the track over in America's Racing League. Glad to see him diversifying and running with some other top-notch drivers. No time posted for Maximo ARG as he spins there at the exit of turn 1. For real. P7 with a 54.798. And I'm going to do my best to keep track of drivers and their teams. There is a team championship here. Spiky Cactus and Sturhaus will be teammates this season. No time posted for either of the drivers on Double S Racing. Sorry, had to see that with mine own eyes. We jump back to Soupy, who I do not see. Soupy is teamed up with our championship leader. I say leader, runner, organizer, curator, whatever you want to call him. Soupy crossing line P7 with a 53.940. Teamed up with Tactical Nuclear Pingu. These are your two drivers on qualified immunity is the team. Pretty strong performance last season from Pingu. Kind of had a resurgence in the DTM Championship. Really looking for some strong results this season. This is a challenging car to drive, folks. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch how drivers handle this high downforce or high horsepower, low downforce machine. Boy, they make a nice sound, though, don't they? So now Pingu's firing it out into NASCAR 3. Or, I'm sorry, 2. NASCAR 2. And on to the back stretch. We'll go through the running order here by team. Ian Arnold leaving pit lane now. In the number 4 Telemetrix car. Hang on, I've got to get the spotter guide up. I'm trying to read it on my other screen, and it is simply not working. So, we will pull her on up. Right. Chill. Okay, and now we're going to go through the field. Ian Arnold racing for NIMATE. NAIMAET. He's in the number 24 machine, or the number 4 machine. I apologize. And his teammate on NIMATE is Heel Toe Hero in the number 46 Rocket Corn Popcorn machine. Somebody said that. Oh wait, these are corn flakes. Somebody said that if the number 46 wins a race, I think you get a 20% discount on a box of Rocket Corn cereal. So let's root on. Oh, Heel Toe here with a big lockup into the West Horseshoe and into the tire wall. Back to pit lane. Not good for the NIMATE second driver. Ninja Rigatoni, and I can never seem to find him in the chat. Here he is in the lineup, driving the Jesse's 53 machine, eating with a smile. Firing it off into the grass in International Horseshoe. He is with Team Cringy. As is, where did he go? I saw him earlier. Waylon Crace in the number 78 McCree machine. Team Cringy. Both guys been pretty good. Crace in the top 10. Rigatoni still, I think, looking to find some time on the board. Ben Grabo put on a hell of a show during the DTM Championship here, driving for CBBG in the number 62 Bird's Eye and Bait machine. Really looking for some great drives out of this fella right here. And teamed up with CB sitting in P5 on a... there he is. In the Vital Rush number 92 machine, these guys are very close in pace, just about 3/10 off. Could very well be some setup sharing here. Teams are looking to help each other out for the team championship. There is a driver's championship and a team's championship, so everybody on the team performing well is certainly good for the whole team. Chill Blast in the number 55 Tricera Energy Drink Machine. He is driving with Podium Merchants, teamed up with none other than second place Merchant, who could unfortunately not make it this evening. Obscure Hi-Fi in the Orion Syndicate number 35 car, racing for something obscure, and you could assume something fierce, still out on track in the SKS Evo machine. The number 96 car, sitting right about 2/10 off of his teammate. So again, you might be pressed to believe that there could be some setup sharing going on. Is Soupy in the 26 Choco Chompies machine. I love it. I love all these NASCAR parody cars. The number 26 machine, driven by Soupy in qualified immunity, as I've touched on earlier. He is teamed with Tactical Nuclear Pingu in the Prescott 74 Be Strong Building Materials car. And that makes up tactical or qualified immunity. I apologize. Acceptable Loss, who I'm not sure I've seen this evening, is on grip.dll, but Nikita will be driving for grip.dll in the number 82 Kansan car. And it is private qualifying once again, so I will only be able to follow so many. So we will continue going through the running order while people get their outlaps underway. Budget Tire number 80 machine, driven by Spiky Cactus for Double S Racing, teamed up with Sturhaus in the number 33 Alpha and Omega machine. Beautiful looking livery on that car. That makes up Double S Racing. And where is he at? Joe Dirt in the 95 Valley Mart car. From our valley to your home. Had a great performance in the DTM Championship, looking to continue that momentum here in the CASSCAR Championship. He drives for Straw Hats with Captain Ahab, who I do not see. There he is, Captain Ahab. In the number 73 One-Time Design House and Studio car. Beautiful looking livery. I love the hexagonal pattern there on the front. That makes up Straw Hats Racing. Where is... I saw him a minute ago. So many people in here. N. Levy, 101. In the number 99 Lock-On Machine. He drives for Unlimited Slip Differential. Along with Alex, simply named Alex. Both driving the number 99 Lock-On Machine. That will be hell for me. All good. I don't know, have we seen anybody from... I don't see Argent in here, so I know Maximo ARG in the Polar Drive number 70, driving for Argent NASCAR. I don't see Victor Paz. I don't believe he is in this evening. Again, some people were unable to make the first round. And it seems that T. the Wolf and Dave Coors have not determined a team name, but Dave Coors rocking the number 88 Wings machine. What a beautiful livery that is. And that makes up all of the cars that I have on the Spotter Guide, and I am your lead commentator, backup commentator, cameraman, and broadcaster, Les Paul Obsession. You can call me Les, you can call me Austin, you can call me Cooper, Ryan, Asshole, whatever you want to call me. Welcome, glad you're here. This is going to be a super exciting series. I cannot wait. These guys are an absolute treat to watch. I don't race with Cass personally. I handle the broadcast booth for them. But I have raced with some folks from Cass, and let me tell you, they are all fantastic, high quality, high adrenaline, great sportsmanship. You will not want to miss stock car racing with Cass. This series, Roadmaster Series, is all North American road circuits and street circuits. We travel to many places like Adelaide and Montreal in Canada. We've got Indianapolis and Daytona in the United States, all North American road circuits, and it will truly be an absolute hoot to watch as Dave C. hard into the tire wall on the exit of the entry of the bus stop. I apologize. And that is going to be an unfortunate incident for him. We're going to jump back to Nikita, who was rapid in free practice in the warm-up session, and we'll cross the line with a 49.026 faster than he was in practice. I apologize. And Ian Arnold, followed by Tactical Pingu here. Everybody's starting to roll times in, but nobody within what they probably believe to be a realistic distance to Nikita. Spiky Cactus here for Double S Racing will round out the bottom of your top 5. Budget tire, drive more, spend less. Pretty sure I read a racer article that says if Budget Tire in the number 80 machine wins today, you can drive to your local machine or your local Budget Tire and buy 2, get 2 free. As he goes hard off into the Western Horseshoe, Spiky Cactus, a lot of pace underneath his machine, just trying to find the opportunity to use it. Orange Hat will be looking to post his qualifying time, though it probably won't be what he wants to see. Maximo ARG will not have a time posted. Soupy will be looking to post a time. Rigatoni looking to post a time. Soupy will be the next one to post a time, I believe. So we will watch Soupy. Choco Chompies, the chocolate-filled thrill. Love the livery on that machine. Through the NASCAR 4, down into the chicane. That seemed very smooth. And he'll be across the line. Was good enough for 13th with a 52.683, but Nikita practically untouchable as he did cross the line again with a better time of a 48.488. And Orange Hat really just trying to get something on the board, but it won't be a good time for Orange Hat. Folks, I will be right back in 2 seconds. I am going to empty my bladder before we get into this 40-lap feature event. Be right back. And we're back. The real race begins, Christopher says. I know how to get back in time to not miss the green flag. Now, I am not sure if this will be a manual formation lap. Probably ought to look and see. Because I'm not sure if they do a formation lap or if it's a standing start. Manual formation lap, rolling start. So they will be doing a manual formation lap. So I don't believe it will be guided by good old AMS2. They will have a standing start, and they have to maintain their position into their own guided formation lap. And Nikita will be the driver to take them to green. Nikita flying solo this evening for, I believe it was Grip DLL. So doing his best to keep them in the team fight in terms of points. But rounding him out, Tactical Nuclear Pingu in second place, Joe Dirt in third place, Ian Arnold in fourth, and Obscure Hi-Fi rounds out your top 5 from qualifying. Hi-Fi had a great qualifying compared to teammate Something Fierce. Whopping 11 place difference between the two of them during qualifying. Ian Arnold and Heel Tohiro for Nymate. I believe that is Team Ian backwards. I'm assuming they're both named Ian. But not a bad deficit between the two. But Nikita will be the only one in the top 5 flying solo tonight in terms of team drives. In the number 83 machine for Kansan Performance. What a race we've got on our hands, folks. Nighttime here at the Daytona International Speedway, excuse me. So we pull up the track map and hide the overview. Drivers weaving vigorously to warm up tires. Safety cars will be enabled tonight in the event of a car going off or obstructing the track and needing to pull out the safety car. We are ready and waiting. Folks in CAS, if you're watching this back, I'm going to do my best to remember your teams. You just got to give me some time, and I promise we'll get there. Qualified immunity. I know that's Tactical Nuclear Pingu, and I believe that is Soupy as well, who sits in P16. As we begin to approach NASCAR 4 and into the front stretch, final chicane. I believe this will be a double file start. Drivers will now be lining up. Love that trackside camera. And as they grid, somebody's clipped the wall back there in the back. I believe that was Waylon Crace of Team Cringy. And we are green flag racing with Joe Dirt making an early move down on the bottom. 3 wide, approaching turn 1. Joe Dirt down under the shoulder on Nikita. Fires it into 1 and takes the number 95 machine to the front for Team Straw Hats. Nikita chasing fast behind, and Nuclear Pingu continuing to chase. Is now an attack from some drivers behind, but they've gone off. Ian Arnold has gone wide. Ben Grabo has gone wide. Very unfortunate for that group of guys. Very fast in practice and qualifying. Up ahead of him, Spiky Cactus for Double S Racing. Hard at work on Heel Toe Hero, who is now dropping like a ton of bricks, getting held up in the traffic here. And Spiky Cactus trying to work his way up the field. Cactus has a lot of pace in that machine, just has to find some consistency and some clear track to make something magical happen. Is now Nikita trying to jump into the draft here and catch up to the race leader, Joe Dirt, for Straw Hats. We might get something late on the brakes into the bus stop. Not going to happen, but a beautiful entry to Nikita and a nice exit out of the Le Mans chicane. He might get something going into the final chicane here. No game sounds, by the way. Are you sure? You sure it's not just super quiet? Because it is very quiet. The battle up front already extending a 2.2 second gap over the field. Yeah, Theo, for some reason the stock USAs are super quiet, and I don't know why. I thought that earlier, but the problem is if I bounced out to fix it, I would have screwed up the whole the whole session. Good old AMS2 and its broadcaster role. But I'm happy to do the broadcast. Love to be here. We jump back to Nuclear Pingu here for tactical immunity. I'm sorry, qualified immunity. We'll get there. We'll get there. Just trying to play defense here. A bit of a battle here between Heel Toe Hero and Spiky Cactus. We'll ride on board with Heel Toe here. Part of Team Nymate, Team Ian, essentially. We're going to refer to them as Team Ian for now. Classic AMS2 indeed. Beautiful line on the slipstream here on the exit onto NASCAR 1. Down the backstretch. Will he get the opportunity to pounce on Cactus into the Le Mans chicane? It doesn't seem like he had the run, wasn't confident enough in the brakes, but Spiky Cactus has gone off and into the grass, which will cost him dearly, as now Heel Toe Hero back up into 7th place. Spiky Cactus plummets to 12th and continues to lose ground on the cars ahead. Not what he wanted to see for Double S Racing. Sturhaus, the other driver on Double S Racing, 2 cars behind, right there, behind the 26 machine of Soupy. Maybe a little bit of teamwork here. Some bump draft up on the back straights and into the big stretches of track to help each other regain some ground. But the fight up front is starting to get very close between Nikita and Joe Dirt. Probably a little bit of anger behind that visor for Nikita. Thought he had a pretty good start, but almost wondering if Joe Dirt maybe made an early move down onto the bottom, really trapped Nikita in the middle between himself and Tactical Nuclear Pingu. We're going to see how that plays out. Beautiful thing about these stock cars, folks, a little bit of bumping and nudging, they can take it. So we fire down and onto the NASCAR track. Really great run from Nikita here. The slipstream is very strong in these machines, folks. It is wicked. But Joe Dirt driving away on the straightaway. Nikita very strong on the brakes into the Le Mans chicane, but as is Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt just seems to have the straight line speed, and Nikita just can't seem to match it. Further back, we've got Heel Toe Hero chasing down Alex for P6. The gap is closing a little bit with Ben Grabo tracing just behind a few tenths. And the race back here between Captain Ahab, who massive cut on the Le Mans chicane, both the entrance and the exit. All good. These cars are a bear to drive. Absolute challenges. But these drivers are doing everything they can to make the best of the machinery. And I do apologize for the weird volume issues. Good old AMS2. I am aware of it, if you're just tuning in. Nikita and Joe are brothers, by the way. Classic battles. That would make sense. That's how I would race my sibling if I was racing him and he had any interest in sim racing. As we've got a car off the track, I believe that's Waylon Crace of Team Cringy. Not a great day so far for Team Cringy. Waylon Crace sitting in P21. Ninja Rigatoni in P15. Not the results that this team was looking to see in round one, but there is a drop round, and that will certainly be considered when it comes to championship implications. Folks, there's another thing that needs to be pointed out in terms of the scoring tonight. There are stage points. So the pit lane will close the lap before the stage ends, but you can opt to pit early. If you pit early, you're going to lose the track position and lose, effectively, the points at the break of the stage, but you gain the track position at the beginning of the next stage. So it kind of becomes a gamble. Is track position more important, or are points more important? As Nikita with another great run down into the chicane. I love the fire popping out of the side pipes of these cars. These things are just an absolute treat to listen to watch, to race. So cool to see him out here on the Daytona NASCAR circuit. These guys are very close. Wide entry from Nikita, just trying to put the switchback on Joe Dirt, but Joe's just got some immense pace in that number 95 Valley Mart machine. But this might be the attack from Nikita into International Horseshoe, just trying to fight the step out on that car. He's had some really great opportunities that he just hasn't been able to connect with, but you can tell he's fighting. And folks, these guys have opened up a 6-second gap over the rest of the field. P2 sits 6.4 seconds back, and the gap continues to open as these two just continue to duke it out. Traditionally speaking, when you're fighting for a position, you're losing time, but not Nikita, not Joe Dirt. These two are powerhousing the front of the field, and it almost makes you wonder if it will bring out a yellow. We'll return to that fight here in just a moment, as now Spiky Cactus facing pressure from Soupy in the number 26 Choco Crunch machine. Budget Tire not having a strong race so far. Started well, fell back in the defense from Heel Toe Hero, who has now put both cars... Oh, nope, Ian Arnold fell. Heel Toe Hero is now the sole survivor in the top 10 for Team Ian. Nice entry into the Le Mans chicane for Spiky Cactus as we exit onto the back stretch for lap 6 of this 40-lap feature. Very exciting stuff between these two. You see Soupy in the background trying to find an alternate line, jumping into the slipstream. Beautiful entrance. Very aggressive on the braking from Soupy here. Definitely want to watch on the entrance to turn 1. He is in the slipstream now of Spiky Cactus in the 80 machine, and I imagine we're going to see an attack coming down the front stretch. Too early on the pop out, but is he going to yield the position? Cactus, no, they're too wide through turn 1. That's going to run Soupy wide. A lot of marbles on the outside of that track. Not a lot of grip on the outside lane there. That cost Soupy some very valuable time. Great defense from Spiky Cactus. Through the International Horseshoe and down towards the kink. Will Soupy get another run as we approach the Western Horseshoe? These drivers are doing an incredible job on the brakes, folks. These cars are so hard to bring to a stop. Very difficult. The team over at CASS did a great job of putting together a nice, what they called, house setup. It was a good baseline for people to start with. They called it Default Plus. They kind of dialed some of the car back a little bit, found a nice rhythm, found a little bit more control, and sent that to the drivers and said, you don't have to use it, but here it is in case you want a good baseline. And from there, it seems like drivers took that and tried to make it better. So now Soupy starting to lose ground, and Cactus getting past Levy. Back up into the top 10 for Spiky Cactus as the number 99 lock-on machine falls down to... I guess he was in the top 10. And then number 99... The number 99 machine falls down to 10th and leaving Soupy from the outside of the top 10 looking in. Dave Coors not having a great race so far, down to P16 as CB gets around for Team CBBG. Once again, Nikita really trying to fight back, but just doesn't have anything to answer for the pace of Joe Dirt at the front of the field. But folks, they're almost 9 seconds to the good of everybody else in the field. What a drive for both of these drivers. The restarts will certainly be interesting when we get to the stage break. We know Dave Coors has some pace. We know he's fast. Just waiting to see if he can find a rhythm. The top 10 has largely spread out except for the drivers hovering right around 10th. Cactus, Levy, and Soupy all within about a second of each other. Trying to decide who will be the final driver in the top 10, but Soupy with a nice run coming out of NASCAR 2 and down the backstretch. He's going to have the not-ideal line into the chicane, but Levy thought better of it, backed out onto the approach to the Le Mans chicane, said, nope, not worth it this early in the race. You take it. I'll drop back and punt. Good call, good heads-up driving there from N Levy 101 as now Dave Coors tries to chase down CB of Team CBBG. Ben Grabo, the other driver on that team, currently sitting P7, had a great practice session. The two of them were very close on pace, and then qualifying kind of split them a bit, and then the race start got absolutely chaotic. And now Dave Coors trying to chase down CB for position. Our race leaders have begun lapping some of the back-marking traffic. P22 of Maximo ARG is now one lap down. We've seen Max race over in the America's Racing League, as we do have a local yellow over in the International Horseshoe. I don't know who that is. It was Levy, and Levy fell out of the top. He was in 11th, and he's now down to 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. Seems he had a spin in the International Horseshoe. A very challenging part of the track. Very fast approach. And a tricky braking zone. Pingu, a little bit slow through the Le Mans chicane. Not sure if he got held up behind lapped traffic, but Nikita still all over the back bumper of the race leader, but Joe Dirt not giving anything. Really nice defensive line here, proactive lane changes, but just not enough for Nikita to get by. Nikita with a great run out of the S's, though. But a little earlier on the brakes on the approach to International Horseshoe cost him some valuable tenths. The gap's ebbing and flowing right between about 0.2 to 0.5, just depending on about where they're at on the track. And we have got a pile of them back in P16, 17, 18, 15, 14, all these guys down here. You kind of see some people shuffling around as it looks like Sturhaus hard into the wall. And that is just not ideal for that team. Absolute bummer. Driving for Double S Racing teammate Spiky Cactus. Ninja Rigatoni also seems to have sustained damage in Jesse's number 53 machine. And the battle for the race lead rages on. These two not letting up. CB finds himself in the middle of the battle for 12th. Very nice run on the entry to NASCAR 1. Can he keep the pace? When you start to fall out of the slipstream here, folks, it is hard to maintain the gap. You start to lose distance fast. Back into International Horseshoe for the battle at the front. Nikita really just trying to make something happen, but Joe Dirt with a very, very strong straight line speed. I think Nikita can do a little bit of a better job bringing the car down to speed, but that number 95 Valley Mark car has got something going where he can just put the power down and drive away. Nearly 15 seconds now separates this battle from the second place car, which is truly astonishing. If you look over at the track map, folks, all the blue dots are cars they have put a lap down. Or, I'm sorry, cars that are not on the lead lap. Nikita really trying to make his presence known down through the Le Mans chicane. And on the exit onto the backstretch. Approaching NASCAR 3, he had a little bit of a hiccup on the exit. Just had to scrub a lot more speed, which cost him a little bit of time. But he's trimming the gap down. 2.3, 2.5. Now it's going back up. 2.4. Really trying to make something happen. But the gap's starting to open back up, folks. Joe Dirt may just be able to hold this fight back. As the fight back here, excuse me, Something Fierce driving for Something Obscure in the number 96 SKS Evo machine. Fighting to hold off, I believe that was CB for a moment there of CBBG. But a little bit of a mistake. And it was a costly one. Tactical Nuclear Pingu just kind of driving his race. For unlimited, or I'm sorry, qualified immunity. Again, I'll get there eventually. Other team on that, or the other driver on that team is Soupy, sitting P11. Hoping to crack into the top 10, but just not there yet. Hoping for a mistake from Ian Arnold. Driving for Team Ian. As far as teams go, I think Team Ian might have the best setup right now. 2 cars in the top 10. Certainly something to be happy about. Heel Toe Hero now chasing down Obscure Hi-Fi. Hi-Fi driving for Team Something Fierce. Or Something Obscure, I apologize. Teammate is Something Fierce. They're all bunched up into the Le Mans chicane here. I'm sorry, this is the NASCAR chicane. To ride on board. Ian McClure. Beautiful line on the entry to 1. Through the S's. Look at that head of steam on the approach to the International Horseshoe, but he got a little bit wide, a little bit shaken up, allowing Ben Grabo by, but I think that was potentially an accidental love tap from Ben Grabo. He seems to have yielded the position back. It's what we love to see here in Cass, folks. The sportsmanship is unlike any other. And we love to see that. It's Nikita with a great run down the back stretch. Does he think about the move going into the Le Mans chicane? He doesn't. He just seems content to sit in second. But I don't think he's got what it takes to get around. I just don't know that the car is there. Nikita as a driver, absolutely massively talented at getting around people. But I just don't know if he has the confidence in the car to make the move. Oh, a little bit of curb chomping there by Joe Dirt, and that's going to cost a little bit of time. This is very close across the front stretch and across the line. Tries to switch it back, but the gap continues to accordion. What a drive from these two folks. Joe Dirt might be starting to suffer a little bit of tire wear, potentially some fuel save, trying to make it to the stage break at lap 21. Folks, there's still 7 laps of action to go before then, though. So drivers that might be struggling with tires now are in for a long 7 laps, if that is in fact what's going on. But folks, if anybody's going to be burning up tires, it is going to be Nikita. He is on the attack 24/7, 365. Hard on the pressure for Joe Dirt. But I don't think this is going to be a tire race, folks. I think this is going to be a fuel race as CB down into pit lane looks like for some damage. The advantage, the stage break, will allow him to stack back in with the field as Nikita goes around. But a beautiful save from the P2 driver. Absolutely incredible. What a save. That goes on the highlight reel, folks. If anybody is out there at CASS and saving clips for highlights, right there, that's your money shot. Holy shit, that was incredible. True testament to the level of talent that driver has as Waylon Cray's off again in the International Horseshoe. Double S not having a great night tonight. Cactus still sitting in the top 10, but only just. And Heel Toe Hero trying to chase down Obscure Hi-Fi. Folks, when the field gets spread out here at Daytona, it is a little bit of a challenge to find your way into a battle. The slipstream is massively important. Our fastest times in qualifying were in the mid-49s. And as you can see, drivers are starting to trim back. Joe Dirt cracked into the low 49s. Nikita just a little bit behind on fastest lap. And the rest of the field is starting to blanket themselves into that 151, 152 range, or 150 to 151 range. That's what we like to see. Folks are getting a little bit more comfortable with the machine, a little bit more comfortable with the track. Right on the roof cam provided by Rocket Corn. And commentated by the LPO network. The car between the two is Chill Blast for Podium Merchants in the number 55 Tricera machine. This is a very dicey entry to the intersection, or to the Le Mans chicane. Chill Blast. It's too wide there with Obscure Hi-Fi for a moment. This is a fight for 5th place. Number 46 Rocket Corn machine now trying to chase down Chill Blast for Podium Merchants. Another solo team driver this week. Podium Merchants only represented by that number 55 car. 2nd place Merchant is out of town. Valuable time with the family. And he's left the team in good hands. As Chill Blast currently sitting in the top 5. But I imagine Ian McClure getting a little bit impatient. He was chasing down Obscure Hi-Fi, and now he's trapped behind Chill Blast. And you gather, just looking at the attitude of these cars, that he might have the pace, because the gap between him and Hi-Fi has now grown to nearly 2 seconds. Tries to make something happen. We've got 5 laps left in the stage. Love that livery. And Levy off in the International Horseshoe. Waylon Crace chasing down Stur Haas into turn 1. Great run on the entry to turn 1. This is going to be an interesting race come restart. Very interesting to see what people's point strategies will be. I'm getting up the stage information here. One moment. Okay, we've got it. Field starting to get bunched up right in here. Stur Haas, Waylon Craze, Orange Hat. Hey, some pressure from Chill Blast, or I'm sorry, CB, not Chill Blast. I apologize. Jump to assumptions there. CB driving for Team CBBG. A great run up into NASCAR 1, but he clips the wall, and that will be costly time for P19CB in the Vital machine. And Orange Hat, excuse me, will be I think I skipped a team. I apologize to NY Racing. That's Orange Hat and For Real. I do apologize. For Real in the Cerberus Security Systems machine. Number 6 car. Keeping it in the top 15. Nikita on a mission. Chasing down Joe Dirt 9. The gap was nearly 4 seconds when he spun and saved it. And now it's down to 1.5 seconds. Can Nikita spin and win the inaugural race of the Roadmaster Series in CASSCAR? You just saw Joe Dirt was in frame. He's not going away anytime soon. Chill Blast starting to face pressure from heel toe Hero. Really just doing everything he can to try and find an opening, but it's opening the door for Ben Grabo to start peeking into this fight for 5th and 6th. And we're about to have a 3-way fight for 6th with just 2 laps left in the stage. Nikita now down below 1 second to the race leader. Nice shallow exit for Ian McClure here in the number 46 car, just trying to do everything he can to shave the tenths between him and Chill Blast. He would love to finish the stage in 5th. Is he going to make the move into the Le Mans chicane? He thinks better of it, bows out, lets Patience come out on top as he continues into NASCAR 3. Things are starting to get close for a couple drivers on the field. And Chill Blast is around. Heel Toe Hero will take command of the 5th place of this race. P5 now to Heel Toe Hero for Team Ian. And Chill Blast into the pits just before the stage break. Folks, the stage break is at lap 21. The pits close next time by. Lap 20, pits will be closed. Drivers will have to make their stops before lap 20 or during the stage caution. Is now Joe Dirt into the thick of traffic and trying to use it to his advantage. Almost getting squeezed up to the top, but managing to save himself and get around CB without much issue. Here is where we're going to start to see the strategy play out. Does Joe Dirt opt to come into the box and pit and sacrifice stage points for track position at the start of stage 2? He does opt to box. Joe Dirt will box before the stage break, handing Nikita the lead and potentially the win in stage 1. And I say potentially, folks. Pingu is 22 seconds behind, so it would take a miracle to be bested as Nikita cruises through lap 20. And a lot of drivers opting to box. Heel Toe Hero for Team Ian. Tactical Nuclear Pingu for qualified immunity. All opting to pit. Captain Ahab, CB, Waylon Crace, Maximo ARG. All drivers pitting on lap 19 before the stage break. Rolling the dice on track position versus points. Folks, this will affect points, not just the race. Your race leader, Nikita, leading Obscure Hi-Fi now by 26 seconds. Ben Grabo sitting P3, hoping to take the third step of the top 3. I'm sorry, he is the third step of the top 3. I apologize. Something Fierce with Something Obscure, Team Something Obscure. And Dave Coors in the Wings number 88 machine, all opting to pit on lap 19 before the stage caution. Pits are now closed for drivers not on the lead lap. Nikita will cross the line. And I believe the safety car will be out any moment. Nikita waiting until the car comes out, though, which is wise. I'm interested, folks, to see where Joe Dirt filters out. At the end of the stage, Ben Grabo chasing down Obscure Hi-Fi. Folks, we're still racing until that safety car is deployed. We will race. And my guess is it will be when everybody crosses the line to complete lap 20. Ben Grabo, though, really trying to make something happen. It's the Hail Mary lap, folks. And now the safety car is deployed. This will be the end of the stage. But I don't think Graybo's got it in him to compete with the Orion Syndicate machine of Obscure Hi-Fi. And what a recovery drive from Nikita, folks. It's going to be very interesting to see where drivers filter out. Not everybody here in the top 10 even boxed early. But it's not as consistent as, everybody from P5 back boxed on lap 19. No, they're kind of scattered everywhere. And it's going to be interesting to see where they come out in the blend as the safety car will now lead the field. Not sure if there are protocols in place to get lapped cars out of the way. I am unsure, but Nikita, be your top driver in stage 1. This is the guy we want to watch on the restart, though. The number 95 Valley Mart machine. What a commanding first stage he had. We'll take a look at the roof cam provided by Valley Mart. From our valley to your home. Sadly, I don't have any onboard data regarding fuel, tires, anything. Flying blind. Don't see a whole lot or hear a whole lot of fuel save going on. I know a very common thing for us in the America's Racing League Stock Car Series was to pull the clutch on the straights and just coast. And I imagine we'll see Nikita be the first to lead the field to pit lane. Who else decides to follow? For Real is in pit lane. Stur Haas in pit lane. Obscure Hi-Fi, Ben Graybo, Alex, all in pit lane at the stage break. They opted to take the stage points and sacrifice track position, and that will put Joe Dirt at the front of this field with Tactical Nuclear Pingu beside him. A lot of drivers, as you see now on the field, opting to pit before the stage break, which gives us a nice split strategy here. And I apologize because I can't tell you when all these drivers pit because I don't have fancy schmancy tools. AMS2 does not allow that data to be easily shared. But you've essentially got pit strategy A and pit strategy B. Nikita out of pit lane and in P4. Definitely a position he can fight from and make up some serious ground. We'll go through your top 5. That will be leading the field to green at the start of stage 2. Joe Dirt will lead the field in the number 95 Valley Mart machine. Tactical Nuclear Pingu of qualified immunity, sitting P2. And Ian McClure, heel toe hero, in the number 46 car for Team Ian, will be driving the field back to green in P3. That is your top three. 3 different drivers, 3 different teams. Very interesting to see how the strategy plays out. Nikita for Grip DLL, only driver for Grip DLL this evening, will be sitting P4. Obscure Hi-Fi just behind in P5 for Something Obscure. Ben Grabo for CBBG sitting in P6. Chill Blast for Podium Merchants in P7, the only driver representing Podium Merchants this evening. Spiking Cactus in P8 had a bit of a tumultuous beginning to this race. Stage 1 started a little rough, but he kind of started to find his footing and dig in, and is kind of floated right around the top 10, which is great for Double S, the highest positioned Double S racing team at the moment. Alex in P9, driving for Unlimited Slip Differential. Ian Arnold in 10th for Team Ian. Both Team Ian drivers sitting in the top 10. Now, I believe I thought there was going to be an extra lap of caution, but it does not seem so. We are back underway and racing. And in the thick of it already, Joe Dirt facing pressure from lapped cars. And Pingu getting trapped on the outside of the entry of International Horseshoe. Doing everything he can to catch a slipstream and maybe catch Joe Dirt, but Joe Dirt has already left the building and opened a 2-second gap over his competitors. Spiky Cactus on the inside here, started P8 at the beginning of stage 2, looking for a nice recovery of some positions while the field's bunched up. Chasing down Alex and Obscure Hi-Fi. Tucks it down onto the inside of Alex. Can he get the job done? That is not Alex. I apologize. That is Orange Hat, who is not on the lead lap. Cactus is chasing down Ben Grabo, who is just a few cars up. And Grabo back to the hunt on Obscure Hi-Fi. CBBG on the inside of Something Obscure, not going to get it done in the entry of the Le Mans chicane, but he will have a chance to answer on the backstretch through NASCAR 3 and 4 with a big off from Tactical Nuclear Pingu. That's going to be costly. Falling like a rock. Drivers going all over the track to get around. And now Ben Grabo losing some ground on Obscure Hi-Fi. I apologize. And now facing extra pressure from Spiky Cactus and trapped behind the lapped car of Ninja Rigatoni. Trapped may be a dramatic term, though, because he seems to be using it to his advantage. Slipstream will save him fuel and gain him speed as he traps his opponent on the outside using Rigatoni as a pick. Spiky Cactus gets hung out wide on the entry to turn 1. And that seems to have simmered this battle down for the time being. Big lunge from Alex in P7, though, to try to get around the lapped car of Rigatoni. Folks are trying to do everything they can. They've got fresh tires, full fuel. They're doing everything they can to try to get around and make some track position. Nikita fighting Chill Blast for P4. And Joe Dirt has already opened a 4.8 second gap, and it is not slowing down. Nikita trying to get around Chill Blast. This guy is absolutely rapid. Sacrificed the track position for the stage points. So at the end of stage 1, he will score more points than Joe Dirt. But Joe Dirt with a strong start to stage 2. It'll be hard to argue with that strategy as the laps continue to tick on. 15 laps to go in tonight's inaugural CASSCAR Roadmaster Series race here at the Daytona NASCAR Road Course. Nikita with a big cut there. I'm sure that was a track limit warning. Pingu in full recovery mode now. Just trying to find... I see Ian Arnold has gone wide and dropped a little bit. Doubtful that was intentional, but he seemed to tuck right into the slipstream from Pingu there to try to gain some track position back. Currently sitting P10. Both Team Ian cars are in P10 as Ninja Rigatoni out wide in turn 1. CB chasing down Dave Coors, who's had a pretty decent recovery. But not where he'd like to be. Number 92 Vital Rush machine for CBBG Racing. Currently sitting P13, but hungry for more. Out on the back straight in NASCAR 1. A little bit of a brush with the wall. Something fierce chasing behind. I actually almost think that was his teammate just behind. It is his teammate just behind. Something would allow me to think he would make it easy for his teammate, and he does. Ben Grabo fires right on past the back marker. The question will be, does CB make it easier for anybody else, including the pursuing 99 machine of Alex? Or does he decide to play tail gunner a little bit and hold him up? Excuse me. CB still trying to chase down Dave Coors, but it's not going well. For real, for real. Getting around Waylon Crace. I'm sorry. Waylon Crace getting around for real, for real. Something fierce. Seems to be some movement here. Largely tame right now. Folks, Joe Dirt just has the car to beat tonight. This guy is up 4.5 seconds in just a few laps and shows no signs of slowing down. Nikita trying to chase down the number 46 Real Pop machine of Ian McClure with Team Ian, but folks, I just don't know. Nikita can make a very bad car pretty decent, but I don't know if he has the confidence in that race car to get around Joe Dirt. Joe's putting the car right where it needs to be to defend against any sort of impending attacks. And the clock is ticking, folks. Nikita's only got 13 laps to really try to bring this home. But wouldn't it be a story if he spins in the Le Mans chicane and wins the race? Absolutely would be one for the history books. And we'll take you on board, courtesy of Kinsen Performance. Hard on the brakes into turn 1. Nice. Nice closure there on Heel Toe Hero. Nikita really knows how to nurse the brakes of this car, I will tell you that. Very confident on the brakes. Very confident on the exit. You can tell he's very comfortable behind the wheel of this stock car. And it shows, folks. Well and truly it does. You'll see that gap continue to trim back further and further in these heavy braking points, Nikita can just extract so much more from the car because he can be so aggressive on the brakes. So we've got a local yellow, Maximo ARG off an international horseshoe. I think Ken's in performance for the onboard camera. Nikita continuing to work that gap down further and further each lap. Now a second off of his opponent and nearly 5 seconds off of the race leader. But, folks, he can close that gap. We've seen him do it. We will not count out Nikita in the final fight of this race. I apologize. I thought that might be a battle for position there, but it was not. For real, fighting off Sturhaus. Trying to keep him back there. Sturhaus with a seemingly not ideal exit from the Le Mans chicane. Bogged down a little bit there. And that is that is Obscure Hi-Fi around on the front stretch. That will be costly for Team Something Obscure. He's having a great race. Very early in the lap, too. He's going to have to limp that thing through and nurse it to the end of the lap and hope that nothing is too terribly damaged so he can get it to pit lane. Be interesting to see how competitive that car is as the lap continues to tick on. But we want to watch now for Nikita, who is beginning to get in striking distance of Ian McClure in the number 46 Real Pop machine. Just 0.3 separate these guys now. And the gap continues to close. Nikita very patient, very calm, and collected behind the visor, knowing a move into the Le Mans chicane could be rather treacherous, and opting to bow out of it and wait for a better opportunity. Sticks his head wide. Really doing what he can to close the distance. Folks, I think we'll see Nikita sitting in P2 by the end of this lap. He is putting the pressure down on Joe Dirt. I'm sorry, on Heel Toe Hero. I apologize. Ian McClure just ahead, not backing down, doing what he can to hold off this massive drive from Nikita. But he's going to try to stick his nose in on the exit or the entrance to the West Horseshoe. Doesn't get it. Nice smooth exit. He's going to try again. Down into turn 6. And up into NASCAR 1. Doesn't get it, but a beautiful run. And now he has the benefit of the slipstream. You almost gather that Nikita wants a bit of a gap on the entrance to the Le Mans chicane. It gives him the opportunity to brake much more aggressively and close that door even more. Pingu potentially brushing the wall there. Massive damage on the front of that machine as he's limping it through the infield, trying to get it to pit lane, I presume. Very unfortunate. It was running very strong in the first stage, but it just kind of fell apart for him this second stage. A little bit of pressure in the beginning of the laps, and a small mistake cost him dearly. Folks, while this battle is raging on, the gap to the leader has diminished. The overall gap that Joe Dirt has now is 2.7 seconds, and it continues to drop. This is absolutely awesome to watch. Oh, with a little bit of a brush of the wall on Nikita's part. Almost wondering if it is desync. Or was it truly a brush with the barriers? Hang on. Apologize, my wife was texting me. Nikita now starting to get onto the attack. You can see it down the front stretch. Keeps popping his nose out, but just not finding the opportunity. Oh, and a little bit of a slide from heel to hero is going to be very, very costly, as now Nikita ready to pounce through the kink and down into the Western Horseshoe. Nikita backed out of it to protect his race, but that was almost a tragic loss of track position. Massive props to McClure there for keeping it pointed the right way, albeit at a little bit more slip angle than he wanted. Nikita with another great run. Nice little bit of a love tap there. Bump draft and heel toe hero. Far and away and into the grass. Nikita will surge forward. We almost might wonder if that was caused by the little love tap. But nonetheless, Nikita now with clean air ahead of him will be chasing down the race leader with 8 laps to go, 7 at the cross of the line. Joe Dirt continues to command the field. Without really any fear of losing position. And will be doing what he can to bring this car home in one piece. So now the gap's opened back up to 4.3 seconds. We'll continue to watch that fight play out. Folks, with the field a little bit spread out right now, I would just like to invite everybody that thinks they'd like to take place in racing like this, check out Cass. Can-Am SimSport, you can find them, I believe, on... I don't remember the name of the website. But look them up, Can-Am SimSport. I'm sure if you Google them, they'll come up. This is a great group of guys who can't join this series mid-season, but they do some fantastic races throughout the year. We wrapped up the DTM Championship, another one that I commentated for just a few weeks ago. And we're back tonight with the CASSCAR Series, the Roadmaster Championship, all road courses, no ovals, in the Stock USA Gen 3 machine. Stage breaks, stage points, team racing. It is fantastic. The guys at Cass really do put on a show. And I'm so grateful they've given me the opportunity to give them a voice in the sim racing world. Hope the continue doing that. I hope the quality of the show, barring the unfortunate AMS2 audio fiasco, is up to their standards, because their racing has been truly phenomenal to watch. Go check them out. Can-Am SimSport. You can't miss them. Join them, race them, learn from them. These guys are real class act guys. I've raced with a couple of them over in America's Racing League. You all are familiar with second place merchant Jeff H. I've raced with Spiky Cactus. Truly fantastic guys to drive against in every discipline that we've raced. I can't say enough good things about them. So thanks to Cass for putting this on. Thanks to Pingu for organizing all of these. Really do appreciate everything you do. And thanks to all the drivers in Cass for putting on such a great race. It's truly fun to watch. 2.7 seconds now behind Joe Dirt is your second place driver, Nikita. The question remains, can he get it done in 6 laps? So there's an off. It seems like CB and Levy, big incident here on the exit of the Le Mans chicane. Not sure if that's a one-car incident. I don't see anybody else bunched up. So I'm going to say that's probably just N. Levy, which is rather unfortunate for the unlimited slip differential driver. He'll surely be limping that back to pit lane for what I imagine will be a lengthy repair. So you have another local yellow. I believe that's for real with NY Racing. Off on the exit to NASCAR 1. And all of these incidents have done nothing but help Nikita. Slicing and dicing through the traffic like nobody's business. He's now closed the gap down to 1.7 seconds with effectively 6 laps of racing to go. I think we're going to have a very exciting finale to this race. You almost wonder if Joe Dirt is saving a little bit of fuel to make it to the end. Remember, he did stop before everybody else. He stopped on lap 19. Nikita boxed when the pits opened on lap 23, I believe. So 2 more laps, 3 more, 4 laps to the good on fuel. You wonder if Joe Dirt's saving some fuel and if he has the ability to turn it up a notch when it comes time to defend, because the defense is going to be soon. The gap almost below 1 second. As a matter of fact, we're going to dip below 1 second between the race leader and Nikita with 5 laps left in this 40-lap contest. We've got 2 local yellows, a little bit of a brush of the wall, I think, and it looks like Tactical Nuclear Pingu again with an incident, as well as Orange Hat 44. Pingu in the Western Horseshoe, and Orange Hat seemed to be on the exit onto NASCAR 1. Truly heartbreaking this late in the race be having incidents, and truly upsetting for Nuclear Pingu, who's had a fantastic race up through the first stage. Really did a great job. And second stage just not been kind to him, but now Nikita very aggressive on the attack. You can see it overshot the entrance to the International Horseshoe just a little bit, but he's now under a half a second. 5 laps of racing to go. Folks, he is coming for the race leader. Joe Dirt now mirrors full of the number 82 machine, driven by Nikita of Grip DLL. And he is all over. They're going to be side by side down the back stretch. Nikita is going to get the job done. Can he hold it into the Le Mans chicane? Joe Dirt into the slipstream, dives to the inside on the approach. They're going to do it side by side into the chicane. Nikita bowing out of it and giving Joe Dirt the track position there, but he is going to continue the chase into NASCAR 4. Folks, this is going to be an exciting 4-lap shootout for the finishing, the top step of the podium in tonight's race. Nothing but respect shown between these two drivers right now. Joe Dirt doing a great job putting up a defense when it's necessary. Respectful, but concise. Making that car as wide as it has to be. Nikita once again on the hunt through the International Horseshoe, just doing everything he can to try to get on the power sooner. He's got fresher tires. He's got more fuel. It begs the question if Joe Dirt has it in the tank to push to the end of this race. Through Western Horseshoe, down the straight, into turn 7. Nikita is right there. And again, side by side, through NASCAR 1 and into NASCAR 2, trying to get a full car length and just trap Joe Dirt behind. Joe is going to be trapped between the bottom and the wall. Nikita bows out of it again. Joe Dirt has now been on both lanes of that maneuver, inside and outside, and has come through ahead both times, and now the clock continues to tick down. Nikita trying to do everything in his power. Oh, and he's collided up and into the wall. Nikita has had an incident. Oh, what heartbreak. And any hopes of winning this race dashed almost immediately. What an unfortunate event for what was shaping up to be an incredibly exciting finale to this race. I imagine there's some anger and rage behind the visor of that helmet. But massive props to Nikita. Put on a hell of a show. Still, he can bring it home in one piece. Looks like he's still shaping up for a top 3 tonight. And that is nothing to be too upset about. Ben Grabo now on Chill Blast. These are teammates. These are not teammates. I apologize. One drives for Podium Merchants. The other one's for CBBG. The Bullseye and Bait Dessler Machine, number 62 of Ben Grabo, trying to chase down Chill Blast for P4. Great preempted defense from Chill Blast, really trying to cut the air off the nose of that car behind. And Hi-Fi on Spiky Cactus through the kink and onto the approach of Western Horseshoe. Hi-Fi had a massive incident earlier, dropped him like a ton of bricks. And Chill Blast has gotten around Ben Grabo and Chill Blast have gotten around Nikita, who has ghosted and is slow on the apron of the track. He is missing his bumper, and I have a feeling that is about to be a retirement. So he continues to sit stationary on the track. I'm unsure what is happening right now, but Obscure Hi-Fi and Spiky Cactus, the fight will rage on. So does the fight between Ben Grabo and Chill Blast. Through turn 1. Trying to make something happen, but just not getting it. Nikita's still sitting stationary. on the backstretch. Unsure what is going on. Oh, and a very close maneuver there, but he's going to switch back. Chill Blast catches a little bit of grass on the exit of the kink, and that's going to open the door for Graybo. But he goes wide into West Horseshoe and catches the grass on the entry. And the race for third may be decided. There's still plenty of racing left, folks. A whole lap and a half. What can Ben Graybo do to catch Chill Blast for the top step or the bottom step on tonight's podium? Spiky Cactus seems to have had an incident and fallen back some track position. Still sitting P7th, but not as close as he was. And Ben Graybo probably fuming for the mistake. Hit a great pass opportunity and unfortunately caught the wrong end of the grass on Western Horseshoe. That may have decided his race. Folks, how about a round of applause for this man right here, Joe Dirt 9, from the drop of the green. Said, nope, tonight is my race to lose. Everybody else, good luck. Faced the pressure of Nikita, made the right strategy call, pit early before the stage break. Managed to stretch tires and fuel to the end of this race and still come out victorious. Led the majority of the race. I think the only laps he didn't lead were like lap 19 to 23. And from there, pretty much had it on lock the rest of the evening. Massive props to Joe Dirt 9 for Straw Hats. Not a great night for the other Straw Hats driver, Captain Ahab, in the one-time machine. Currently sitting P14. We're going to stay with your race leader as he crosses the line here at the end. And Joe Dirt 9 will win the first of the CASSCAR Roadmaster Series. Heel Toe Hero with Team Ian will take P2 in the number 46 Rocket Corn Machine, and Chill Blast lingering just behind for Podium Merchants will take P3. Ben Graybo with CBBG in P4, and Ian Arnold with a great comeback drive for Team Ian. Take your top five. I think Team Ian had the best team night tonight. 2 cars in the top 5. Really a great drive from everybody on Team Ian, or Nimate, however you want me to pronounce it. Great job on his part. Obscure Hi-Fi in P6. Alex P7. Spiky Cactus P8. Pingu with a tragic P9. Still top 10, but not where he wanted to be. Soupy, his teammate, in P10. Dave Coors P11. Something Fierce in 12th. Orange Hat 13th. Captain Ahab 14th. For Real. Waylon Crace. CB. Sturhaas. And Levy and Nikita still sitting on the backstretch in 20th. Ninja Rigatoni in the 53 Jesse's Machine. Maximo ARG rounds out the rest of the field. What a drive. What a strategy call. Not sure what happened here, because as far as I was aware, Joe Dirt won, unless he had a 10-second penalty. Pit speed, I imagine. And if that is posted by the series admins, well, that really shakes up the race. Which, I don't know if Nikita knew there was a penalty there or not. But if he did, I wonder if he would have driven any less aggressively. As he sits still motionless on the shoulder of the track. Not sure if it was a hardware disconnect, as he did manage to smash the brake pedal there and bring it to a stop. But we're unsure. That is your final race result. What a drive. What a race. Super fun to watch. Big penalties doled out tonight. I presume all for pit lane speeding. As I've pointed out in previous moments, folks, it's really easy to speed on pit lane here. I don't know how long this little thing has been on the edge of the screen. I do apologize. I don't know what that is or where it came from. But great job to everybody at Can-Am SimSport for the drive. It does not have a limiter, and that's where I think a lot of those time penalties came through. Is I think there were some people speeding with no limiter. The limiter is tricky because it's your right foot. You've got to be the one to maintain the position. So massive props to anybody that didn't get a speeding penalty on pit lane, because it's not hard to do. What a great race. Super bummed to see it end the way it did for Nikita, but, you know, drop around and everything. There's always next week. So thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with me tonight. Cass, folks, that will be the end of the race broadcast. I've just got to go over the rest of my schedule for the week. As discussed this morning in Coffee and Call of the Wild, tomorrow I will be in the car in Automobilista 2 with ARL's ALMS multi-class series. That's like the, quote, vintage IMSA stuff, so the GT1s, the LMP ones. We will be at Sebring, I believe. So track I am not traditionally good on. So we'll see how it goes. But that will be tomorrow night. We'll be live about 9 o'clock Eastern. Wednesday, I will either be off or streaming, more than likely, Roadside Research. If I'm streaming Wednesday, I'm off Thursday. If I'm off Wednesday, I'll stream Fallout 76 Thursday. And then Friday, we'll have Sea of Thieves. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out. Hope you enjoyed tonight's race. Hope you enjoyed tonight's activities. Take care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everybody.